Purple Army, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum, and today we have another triple reaction to Prince. We'll be checking out the songs Calhoun Square, Chaos and Disorder, and lastly, Pink Cashmere. A massive thank you to Eamond the Wholesome for this donation request, and Eamond dedicates this one to Jamie Starr, who, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe is a pseudonym for Prince. Maybe it was one of his earlier names. I remember reading about Jamie Starr in a comment probably a month and a half ago at this point. Let me know if that's even remotely close. But either way, I'm excited to check out more Prince alongside you. So let's do it and let's jump in.
Listening to the drummer, but you still want to have fun. It shouldn't be work. 2, 3, baby.
Oh. Got the stage direction first. Now the funkiest tone ever. They just keep getting funkier. Oh. Dude, where does... Prince buys his bass somewhere else. There's no way. Huge guitar.
Don't matter clothes you're wearing. Oh yeah, hey yeah.
I'm going to try to describe a concept that just appeared in my mind. Let me know if I'm crazy, or let me describe it. So imagine you have a musical measure, and in the beginning of that measure, the focus mentally is on the melody of the notes being played, and on the latter half of that measure, your focus shifts to the rhythm. What is that called? Because I notice in a lot of Prince tracks, and it somehow is coming through in this really funky riff, part of my attention in the beginning is on the melody, and then it switches. It shifts in real time over to the rhythm. It's not to say that the rhythm doesn't have melody or that the original melody didn't have rhythm, but it's what I'm focusing on. So it's like my waiting for what I'm focusing on shifts even within the measure, but typically across measures. Is there a name for that? I don't know if you guys have ever thought about that. It just popped into my mind, so I had to share.
Oh yeah, hey yeah.
Instead of just solely focusing on melody or rhythm.
If you're freaky, they don't care. They don't stay, yeah. Ain't nobody that cares.
Like, for example, you could be focused, sorry to interrupt the music, you could be focused on the bass melody and then respond to the drum's rhythms immediately after. That would just be one example.
Don't stay, yeah. Ain't nobody that cares. All that matters if you're happy. If you're there, yeah. Don't you wanna roll to rock and rumble? Calhoun Square, yeah. Don't you wanna?
Wow.
colors. If you dare, yeah. Do you dare? Jasmine, peach, and love for others.
I like it. I like it.
Hey, yeah. Don't be shocked to see your mother in the chair, yeah. Sit down, baby. Everybody roll to the rock and rumble. Calhoun Square, yeah. Oh, Lord.
That is a catchy riff. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Hear me now.
Wow. Dude, there's like some okay, there was like a big like hair on me. I like that song. Different elements stuck out to me. Definitely that concept of like in a moment focusing on the melody and the rhythm and vice versa. And it doesn't just have to be melody and rhythm, it could be any other musical attribute you can really conceive of. That sticks in my mind because whether Prince does that intentionally or not, it just goes to show how many different ways there are to understand any composition of Prince's you listen to, and really music in general, but especially with Prince, because he throws the entire kitchen sink, the whole house, at the listener's ears, right? That's just how it goes. That's just the name of the game. That's why at the very beginning of the song we got this massive funk feel from that bass, and it's somehow funkier than like the basses you hear prior. Though it didn't like blast open the speakers like I've heard some of Prince's bass effects sound in different performances. It's still really large, and I love the various Prince vocal layers that we hear. That's honestly like one of my underrated, I think one of my, at least my underrated attributes of Prince's singing is not only just his like single layer singing, but when he actually layers over himself. So he may sing his own harmony or do a double or a triple, even just like singing or singing flatly. Like, you know, you can sing on pitch and then you can sing flatly with less emphasis, and that adds as another layer, even though it wouldn't be the main one, it fits underneath. You could also speak with a monotone kind of cadence and thicken the sound. I noticed Prince did that a couple times in this track. And it really made those bigger moments stand out. And it almost emulated what you hear in those big blasted guitar chords. For me, obviously, I love guitar. Those chords always stick out to me. And with big guitar chords, and if it's mixed very well, or the amp is doing what the amp ought to do, you can hear each individual note. And similarly, with each individual note in the guitar chord, I can hear each individual vocal layer in Prince, at least in this track. Sometimes it's more murky and it can be hard to tell, but that's what I kind of figured from this one. So the huge guitars was a big plus for me. The Prince layers was another big plus. I love the funkiness, of course. That kind of already like bumps you up a handful of points. Yeah, I think just pretty not like middle of the road kind of track, but more like a track that I can put on. I don't really have to think about it that much. It really does everything that it intends to do. It's not confusing me. It's not shocking me. This is just a damn good Prince track. Let's check out the next one, shall we? This is going to be Chaos and Disorder I love me a little bit of chaos. Not too much, though. Huge guitars now. Oh, big drums, too. Key sound. Record scratching.
Hey, get out of the street.
Ooh. Who's harmonizing here? Is that Prince and Prince? I'm not sure. The number of unique sound effects, I was like trying to keep tally and then I eventually lost track. I had 9 or 10 at least unique sound effects that I counted mentally. Also, interestingly, this track is like somehow, in the guitars especially, it feels very grungy to me, though Prince's vocals don't necessarily sound all that angsty. There's a bit of angst in there, but I feel like that would be projecting a little bit of the grunge genre onto Prince. But the guitars definitely feel like super, like I referenced earlier, distinct. This time the guitars feel murkier, like the distortion is what matters here, the huge wall of sound and the fun house of effects that we get to hear interspersed throughout this one. Ooh. Shift back onto the electric. The cop car, the crowd, the radio. The beat is like tumbling.
I would only fuck with one.
You got some Spanish in here, as you should. The heartbeats, right? Of course, we need more. I don't know if you guys kept the tracker, but I did my best. I think we had like 27, 28 unique sound effects, according to my little tallies that I'm now mentally doing, or not mentally, but I'm also keeping track of here. Like looking at my notes, there's like a great many things to talk about, but like at a very high level for a song called Chaos and Disorder, this song definitely draws from the chaos and disorder bag, especially in terms of sound effects. There were so many interesting effects that were used here, and pairing with that again, the huge, massive, like distorted guitars, this really like almost like Deep Purple-esque John Lord keys over the top of it all. And I realized that I've been like referencing more Deep Purple in my Prince reactions lately. Again, I don't know how many of you listen to Deep Purple at all, but there's a lot of interesting similarities that I'm noticing, especially in John Lord on the keys and what I hear in Prince's songs. So this is a very disorderly track for sure. It felt grungy to me in those moments, but less about grunge in the vocals. Prince's vocals were more, I guess, poppy, interestingly enough, less angsty than the grunge genre would imply. There's also this like this one specific effect. I don't know if you remember now. It was like a sort of record scratch, but it was like a watery record scratch. I wish I had brought it up in the moment. I don't know, even remember if I did because I wrote it down here. Also, one other minor note. It's strange because I hear in some moments a harmony, and it doesn't sound like it's Prince's harmony, like a Prince harmonizing with himself. It sounds like it's another female vocalist. And I looked in the description here. It says that this mix is without Rosie Gaines' backing vocals. So if it's without her, but then why am I sort of kind of hearing her? Maybe it's backwards, or maybe I'm mishearing something, but let me know. But yeah, I really like this track. Good energy. This is the kind of song that I would put in my like cardio playlist, oddly enough. I was going to say my gym playlist, but usually I'll put tracks in where Prince is screaming in my like heavy gym playlist, where I put my little angry emoji and it's just all out on the in the Iron Gym. But that is Chaos and Disorder. Very fun. Let's check out the last track of the day. This one is Pink Cashmere, and my early prediction is this is going to be a gentle romantic track. Let's find out. The beat is already so established. I love it. Nice tempo.
Ooh, here I go again, falling in love all over. Ooh, the cycle never ends. You just pray it don't get burned. Ooh, this fire inside of me, don't nobody realize. Oh, what you out of me, but baby you got to learn. I'm making you a coat of pink cashmere. You got to know how I feel about you. I always want you near. I'm making you a coat of pink cashmere. I'm counting every minute of every hour till you are here. Girl, can you understand? I never used to go dancing.
I don't know how to describe it, and I feel like it is a bit of confirmation bias, but this song, if I had to describe it as a color, I don't have synesthesia, but I would describe this song as pink for sure.
I was a cool thing, rather stay at home. Now, when I think about how much I miss you, I wanna jump for joy and thank him for not alone. I am not alone. I'm making you a coat of pink cashmere. You got to know how I feel about you, baby. I always want you near. I'm making
how many different string instruments there are. I believe it's Claire Fisher on the strings, if my memory serves. It feels like there are at least, I mean, at the very least, violins and maybe violas, but I think in certain moments I'm feeling like there's cello, but then Prince's vocals like overpowers my my attention. But God, I need to let me rewind it back. Because they're like in the canopy right now. Maybe. Wow, he goes back. It's so interesting because he's like leading with so much attitude in certain sections and then quickly flips back into like lovey-dovey Prince, capable of singing velvety smooth with falsetto if he needs to. And it's interesting that we like moved away from the acoustic guitar. I don't think I've really been able to pick it out in the mix if it is still there. That's where we started, so I guess the ramping kind of had to happen the way it did. And what I've been noticing, especially with the strings, as they become more pronounced in this arrangement, they are playing quickly between Prince's like legato phrasing. And I kind of used this analogy in a prior reaction, but I'll try to describe it in a bit of a different way. So imagine you have like Lincoln logs, right? A bunch of Lincoln logs, and they're kind of thrown about on your bed, and instead of putting them away in the box, you just put your blanket over the top of them. And then later on you go to like rest on the blanket and you realize, oh, I feel all of these Lincoln logs, all of their ridges, the texture is a bit different, and there's a great many of them, but the blanket covers it all. So from a distance I see Prince's legato blanket, and underneath, when I actually go to analyze and feel everything, each of these strings are each of the Lincoln logs. That might be my weirdest analogy I've made. Somebody needs to keep track of all these analogies, man. It's not going to be me.
I'm gonna make a little pretty cooler. I'm gonna count every second, every minute, each and every hour of every day. Till you come on back to your little man.
Ooh. Is there cello in there? It's hard for me to tell without visuals. I'll say there is. Oh. Foghorn. Yes. Yes. Now the blanket is the electric guitar, by the way. That is an interesting way to end that song. I was expecting more of a, I guess even a little bit more of a gradual fade, but we end nonetheless. I really like the conversation that was happening at the end of that song between the electric guitar and the strings. As I mentioned, and it only makes sense if you heard the prior analogy I made, but the subdivisions that are very quick are actually interestingly coming from the strings that are rapidly descending. Do 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 do. And then you contrast that with the distortion in the electric guitar, and it's like a very weird confluence of instruments that like somehow work together, because maybe like a priori you wouldn't predict reasonably that like distorted electric guitar would work with like very somber and classical instruments such as like anything you'd find in an orchestra. But it always works. It works remarkably well. It works too well. I have never, okay, this is a truism statement I think I should make. And you could probably falsify it, but I'm going to make it anyways. I have never listened to a song where there were strings and I was like, the strings were a bad call. Additionally, I have never heard a song where I heard distorted electric guitar and I thought, the electric guitar was a bad call. And come to think about it, most of the music I react to on this channel from Prince, really anybody, it tends to be good music. I think, okay, I'm about to get into a different rant, so let me just do it. I'll see this kind of comment on my channel every so often. People complain that I appreciate music too much, that I'm too positive about the things that I'm listening to. Am I lying to you by appreciating some element of the music that I like? Absolutely not. Just because I appreciate things doesn't mean I don't prefer other things potentially. That would be true, but it's very rare that I actively dislike any song in its totality. If there are elements that I think I would prefer differently, then I state it very absolutely. But it's so strange because you can somehow find yourself in a weird, illogical world where music is no longer subjective and it's objective, and Sohum has to acquiesce exactly to your exact tastes. Like, that isn't really realistic, and if you're watching a reaction channel, you're setting yourself up for failure. It's a weird thing. It's just like a minor rant, but there's so many things to appreciate, and when you have amazing artists, right, who have fandoms, there's also a reason for that, right? There's a reason why so many Prince lovers are in the Purple Army for... Oh, there goes my camera. There's so many reasons why the Purple Army is as expansive as it is, because Prince's discography is as palatable as it is. There's so many gems in it. Of course, I'm going to like a lot of it because it is very good. And this would be... I could make the similar comment for most of the music I react to because people send me good stuff. Long rant over. Maybe I should have done that one after the Chaos and Disorder reaction. I don't know. I think it works well here. But I love strings, man. I love strings in all of its forms. Piano, the violin, viola, cello, upright bass. Am I missing one? Probably. Guitar, bass, those are also string instruments. It just works. And I know I've made this comment before too on the channel, but the string instrument is one of the closest to the actual human voice outside of the human voice itself. I think we all love hearing the human voice, especially voices that are pleasant to us. And that's why when you find an artist that just like instantly resonates with you, it's like you found a best friend. And why would you then, back to Rant Sohum, why would you critique somebody else's friendship when it works? I don't get it. I hope you all enjoyed the reaction today. I'm going to end it there before I fly even further off the rails. That's all I have for you. Take care of yourselves, my friends. I will see you in the next one.